Okay, so chatting about England. So my journey is a bit different. So I, at the age of 20, started stewarding Wembley. So it all started actually in a pub. Got chatting to this Irish guy, big Man United fan, and we just chatted for hours. And it turned out he was what was called a contact at Wembley. So at the time, Wembley would outsource all their stewarding companies, and then the companies would have contacts, and then the contacts would get all their mates and everyone who wanted to come to the events and stuff. So I started doing that, and it was absolutely fantastic. Then at the age of 21, sadly he got very ill, and over a period of time he died over a few months, and sadly watched him pass away. But just before he passed away, he wanted me to take over the contact, which at 21 was quite daunting, as you know what it's like, and so yeah, I did that, and it was phenomenal. Got to see cup finals and England games and playoff finals and concerts, and met everyone, Eusebio and Pele and all these guys. Incredible. Amazing times. Then at the age of 22, I was promoted to supervisor at Wembley in the gallery, and it was literally a month later, before Euro '96. I was then suddenly promoted to deputy supervisor for the VIP gallery, and being part of that Euro '96 was absolutely amazing. There's a couple of games I'm going to pick out just before that. This one, which is England-Japan. Now, what stood out about this wasn't the best game, but it was actually, do you remember me saying back there, I was watching a certain Mr. Collymore play, and I said, this guy can play for England. It was his England debut.
Brilliant.
So it was just amazing being there, seeing Stan make a debut for England, when I said he's going to, I should have been a scout or something.
How did he get
So
on?
I take credit. He did it. I can't remember. It wasn't the best game, but he must have done all right, because I think it was about a week later we played Brazil.
Oh, wow.
And look at this. Yeah, he's saying, oh wow, he should do. Signed Pele.
Wow.
Met the guy, and Stan played in that game. I remember it for three things. I remember it for Pele, obviously, meeting him. I remember it for, we had a left back, Graham Lasso. Scored a belter, 30 yards, top corner, beauty, unbelievable goal. But we lost 3-1. But it stood out for, there was a young Brazilian player, 17 I think it was at the time, a guy called Ronaldo. Phenomenal player, absolutely incredible. And you looked at this kid and you're like, wow, it's just, he can't be 17. And you think what career he went on to, I was thinking about...
Couldn't do it here though, could he?
No, it was different Ronaldo, not the Portuguese one. People always get mixed up, but he was, it was definitely the Brazilian one. And he was part of that Real Madrid team where it was Beckham, Roberto Carlos, Figo, Zidane. I mean, Real, ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, how'd you put a team like that? Kev would love one of those, let alone all of them.
Yeah.
So, ridiculous, putting those together. But seeing him was incredible. So, yeah, they were the two games that stood out. But then, for me, we talked about the Euros. A great experience. I've picked three. So we were grouped with, obviously it was in England, the Euro '96. We were in a group with Switzerland, Scotland and Holland, and the two big draws there is Scotland and Holland. We talked about Scotland. Switzerland wasn't the best game. It was great though to be there for the opening ceremony and seal, and that is a terrible game, to be honest. But I missed the Scotland game, and I regret it. And I missed it because I was playing in a five-a-side tournament in Glasgow on that day, of all the places when England Scotland's on. And so I know what it's like being mixed with a Scots fan. So we got there in the morning. I had a bit of a fascination with Celtic as well, so I wanted to see the ground. So we went up to the ground, and there was a big season ticket queue. And we turned up with these England shirts, and the whole queue went quiet. Looked at us. So we got out of there quickly. Tournament didn't go very well. Ended up quite a few punch-up. Everyone heard that there's an English team involved, and it got a bit not great. We got our ball booted into a street after. So as I went to retrieve that, we're getting bottled by these kids and all sorts. And then the tournament finished. So we went off to find somewhere to watch the game, and we'd heard that England were 1-0 up. So as we went in, Scotland got a penalty, so it erupted in there. And I don't know if you remember it, you might have seen the images, but Gary McAllister had his penalty saved by Seaman. So the ball then went up the end of the field. Gazza flipped over Colin Injury, volleyed it in the net, and we go, dealt his chair and stuff. And unbelievable. And of course, chairs were flying around, and we said we'd better get out of here before we get killed. You know, so we missed that game, but it was, you know, wherever you were, you kind of remembered it. So there was that. Then there was so that was Scotland. Then there was England, Holland. Now here we go. This was for me the ultimate England memory. You know, at the time, we'd always have the briefing before the stewards, and it was funny. The senior guy, I think his name was Brian. Every single game when there was a briefing, he would get one game and say, if it's going to be a bomb, it's going to be on a day like this, be aware. But he'd say that to every game,
yeah.
You know. But what he did mention, I distinctly remember that he said that I think it was a week before or a few days before, it was the playoffs. And there was one particular steward who was in the wrong end, and he cheered for his team, and he got punched by, you know, one of the fans. So he mentioned this at the briefing and said, look guys, if you're going to be cheering, be careful around your surroundings, have a bit of awareness, you know, be sensible.
Yeah.
Because we had this scenario where a fan got punched in the playoffs and you don't want to do that. He said, but don't worry about it actually. He said, we're playing Holland today, so we won't score any goals. Don't worry about it. I mean, Holland they had Bergkamp, David, Seedorf, they had some big names.
Yeah.
Ronald de Boer, Van der Sar, some great names. They were a great team. And like I said, don't worry about it, we're not going to score. England win 4-1. Best performance I've ever seen. At 3-0 up, my brother's doing cartwheels down the aisle in the concourse. You know, it was crazy. Yeah. So those who were there will remember it, and I'm sure those who are listening, you know, can remember that far back. It was phenomenal days. And then the last one I'm going to pick is the semi-final, Germany. So it was only a few years before. It's always penalties. World Cup 90 with the Gazetteers, we missed on penalties. So that was still in the memories. And then, yeah, we got to the semi-final with Germany. It was just amazing to be there. Draw, went into extra time. And back then they did this thing called golden goal. That's all right, noise. They did this thing called golden goal. So whoever scores in extra time, that's it, game over. I don't know how I would feel about it now.
Yeah, best way to win it, worst way to lose.
Yeah, it's awful. It was, your heart was just all over the place because when you're attacking, you're like excited. The other end, you're like, it's going to be over in a minute. Yeah. It was awful. It was awful. And I'll never forget. I think it was Shearer maybe whipped it across, and Gazza just an inch away from getting, you know, that goal. And then of course it went to the penalties. And you know, I remember Southgate stepping up, and you kind of, you had a feeling he was going to miss. You really did. And then we know the rest is history, and you know, we lost. But yeah, it was just amazing, really, to be there, be part of it.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to Euro 28. Obviously, that's back in UK, and obviously, well, the Euro 20 wasn't it? It was delayed a year, and it was all round Europe. But
that's right. Yeah.
The games that were at Wembley, it's special, isn't it? It's and I think that's what I like about England as well, is every major tournament, everyone becomes a football fan.
Yeah, exactly.
Whether you hate football or you're the most die-hard football fan, everyone loves football when England's playing in a major tournament. And you know, he talks about Southgate there, and I'll never say a bad word about it.
What a job he's done.
Yeah, and everything. I mean, from where we were in 2016 to giving them dog's abuse because we've lost a Euro final.
2 now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, we came along such a long way, a short amount of time, and he did help me fall in love with England football. Yeah. Because it is always club first, and the reason I went to England was because it was an escape, and if we was losing every week, it wouldn't be that escape. But you know, for international football, we played okay football, and you know, you look at the players we've got now, and it's a good team.
It's a lot healthier.
It is in every.
We could do have another Gazza, that would be good.
Yeah, and I think Southgate done well to get the most out of him.
Incredible.
You know, I remember, you know, conversation. Yeah, but we only won 1-0. I was like, Yeah, but we won.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but we should have won by 5. It's
Typical cynical England fans,
exactly,
isn't it?
never happy. And
Yeah.
I was fortunate enough to be at the Euro final last year against Spain. And it was
Fortunate or unfortunate?
fortunate. It was so magical.
Yeah, just great to be there.
Yeah, I remember walking through the gates, and I had my English shirt on, and you're surrounded like a wave of England fans, and I remember just thinking almost, I don't care what happens now, like I'm here. Like there's so many people who love to be here, and I'm one of the lucky ones. I remember getting into the stadium. Obviously, we had the part of the stadium which has a nice chunk out the middle of it, and the stadium played Angels, Robbie Williams, and it was just like a party in there.
Yeah.
It was like a proper school disco.
Yeah.
Playing all the bangers. Oasis came on, and by the time kickoff happened, my voice was broken.
Yeah.
Because I've been belting out my best karaoke impressions for half an hour, and it was so good. And I remember
Not going to give a no.
maybe not this time of day. And when Cole Palmer equalised, I was like, oh my god, we're going to do it. Obviously we didn't, but again after that game, we went back to centre of Berlin, and obviously we were down in the dumps, and there's a group of lads, probably 18, 19 Australians, who were interrailing around Europe. End up spending the night drinking with them.
Brilliant.
And that for me is exactly what football's
Football
about.
stories, yeah.
I touched on it earlier when during the group stage when we'd mingle with Swiss, Danish, Germans.
Yeah.
And you got a group of Australians who are interrailing, just travelling Europe, and it was good fun. It made me forget about the football until the day after, when I had a 6-hour train to get back to West Germany and hop on a plane. But it was great, and hopefully I'll be lucky enough to go to the World Cup next year, and hopefully we'll go.
Never know,
further.
maybe one step further. That would be great. That would be great. So yeah, so many great memories. England, home and away, and hopefully you've got a lot more to come.
Hopefully.
So finishing off back at Wembley.
Yes.
We've talked about being there with England many times. We got there with Southend this year.
Yeah.
Must have been a tough week for you building up. Trying to find as many coaches as you could.
Yeah, I never.
How was that week?
I never want to hear the word coach ever again.
Wonder why.
Yeah, it was. Do you know what? It was the most magical week.
Yeah.
It's what dreams are made of. Every football club wants to go to Wembley, and I touched on it earlier. My dream was always to get to Wembley with the team I supported, and for me, I was thinking back to the times when you got bailiffs knocking on the door.
Yeah.
And you're covering a van over a manhole so we can't get the water switched off, and you're on a cherry picker drilling up pad boards on top of the stand, and you think back to everyone saying you're stupid, why are you doing it, why are you seeing it, and it was for the hope that a day like that would come along.
Yeah.
And obviously we got back from Forest Green, I think 3 a.m. in the morning. Was in the office at 6:30, myself and Reece. It's 6:30, 7 a.m.
Wow.
And we was like, what are the next 10 days going to look like? And we were saying how
Pretty
much.
mad.
Yeah, we were going 30,000, 35,000. 35 seemed like a good number. The fact that we were ending the season on 9,000 or so. The interest we'd seen on social media and everything, and we jumped on the call with the league and Wembley and Oldham. And obviously the news was broken that we'd only have 17,500.
Yeah, that's quite a shock. That was.
You almost clear your ears out. And go,
yeah,
did I just hear that right? And you obviously won't go into the conversations that were had, but it just felt like such a disappointment and such a letdown.
And it caused a lot of stress, didn't it? On
unneeded stress. I mean,
self and Tom and
and everyone at the club. Each day it was get in the office at 7:30, 8 a.m. We were leaving the stadium at 10 to 10, just before the alarm switch on automatically. Going home, sitting in front of my laptop for another 3-4 hours until literally my eyes wouldn't stay open. Yeah. I think there was at least one day where I woke up and my laptop was still on me open.
Wow.
And it was just trying to do what we can. I was fortunate I was going to get a ticket no matter what, obviously.
Yeah, of course.
But
I think you'd earned it, to be fair.
I think the big one was, we'd been through the worst imaginable time as a football club.
Of course.
And likewise, so had Oldham.
Yeah.
And for both sets of fans, it should have been the most magical day ever.
I think it was like almost like a reward we deserved, which then was kind of being taken away.
It was a lot more difficult than it should have been. And I think for me was I wanted every Southend fan or Essex resident who wanted to see Southend play at Wembley should be able to. And you know, we came in on I think it was the Sunday or the Monday. Whenever we went on general sale, it's all a blur. And we'd sold out literally in, I think it was 4 minutes.
Crazy.
And I went over to the ticket office and I came back and there was an elderly gentleman who was in tears with his grandson. I was like, are you okay? Probably a stupid question to ask. And you know, he said, I'm battling cancer. I don't think I've got long to live. I think this is the last chance I'll have to see Southend. I was like, went back in the office here. And I was like, I can't leave it like that. Like, we're not accepting no.
Well done.
And did everything we could. And Kaiser and ticketing were amazing. Our ticket provider and Dave and the team there were fantastic. They sent us some stats over, and when we went on general sale, we had 11,000 unique visitors on the online queue.
Wow.
And our average order was 3 tickets.
Wow.
So we would have shifted 33,000 tickets there. I mean, when I got here Sunday morning, the queue was from the ticket office all along the car park. It was
I saw the images,
And you're doing the maths, and we would have had over 44,000 watching Southend in a non-league player final.
And that's potential to grow the fan base as well, isn't it?
Exactly, and we pushed and we pushed and we did everything we could. And I remember literally doing everything we could, and the FA, or Wembley Stadium, said that tickets have to come off sale at midday on Friday. So obviously we can load all the barcodes into the system and everything. And even then I said, well, give us till 3 p.m. I was like, why? There's no tickets left to sell. I was like, just give us till 3 p.m. And then about 12:15, I got a call from them saying, oh, we've been able to get you another 2,000. And I think in the space of 45 minutes, we'd shifted 1,500.
Yeah, we did.
And it goes to show the demand was there. And I think for us, when we was at the game and the tifo came out and it was so emotional.
I was just above it, and just to see it was like, wow.
we were by the halfway line. I looked over and
phenomenal.
It was pride that we as a department had done everything we could to
you've
get
done
as
an
many.
incredible job.
And you know, you always look back and go, what could we have done better? And
of course, it
was one of the very limited times where I thought
Not
there
sure
was nothing else we could have done.
No, we went over and beyond.
You know, we managed to get enough coaching capacity for, I think it was 8,000 people.
That's insane, isn't it?
Which obviously the club had to fork out that
and
money
that short
for.
notice as well.
And then, you know, supporters couldn't afford £75, £80 a ticket. And why would someone buy a coach ticket for a Southend if they live in West London?
Yeah, exactly.
They're not going to get on the train to
go back
Southend to
again.
get on the coach.
No.
And, you know, obviously safety is the number one important, and there's no doubt of that. But I think for us the disappointment was that, you know, the works have been public for a long time. And without being disrespectful, 40,000, 45,000 probably would have been enough 9 times out of 10. It was just bad luck, good luck that the two of the biggest clubs in the league got to Wembley on the exact same day, and you know, we lost, but it was
that's it. We got there in the end, and it wasn't the result we want, but what an occasion.
It's my favourite day following Southend. We didn't win, and obviously the way we lost was gutting, and you lose from a winning position, but equally the quarter-final we were 3-1 down and lost. We won. The semi-final we were 2-1 down with 5 minutes to go and we won. And I think that's what makes football
There's
so
some
special.
great memories from that playoff journey.
And I was chatting with a friend at the weekend, funny enough, and I said my favourite Southend game was always Wembley, and that stood for 10 years. And then came Rochdale. And then 5 days later came Forest Green.
Mad.
Mad days. Exactly. And I learnt so much in those 2-3 weeks. I think we all did. You know, you would think that you'd rock up to Wembley, play the game, and go home either as winners or losers. But it was so much more than that. And
lived off of that for a good while.
You got that. You got things you don't think of, so branding the changing room up just to make it feel like home. And you know, Kev had a great idea. We put the whiteboard in for the clean-up day on the floor for when the players walked in, and just those little 1%. And when players walked through the tunnel, and we had never give up, and we had 4 iconic goals where we'd scored last minute. And on the flip side, the other wall, it was the commentary from Wembley 10 years ago. And
Yeah.
little touches like that, and we put a video together for the players from all their nearest and dearest saying how proud they are, and I know that meant a lot to players. And Box Park as well before the game was magical. And,
and after as well.
And after, it was good. I think back what it would be like if we'd won, it probably would have been even more magical. But
well, hopefully we'll find out next year.
I don't want to go back to Wembley for a long time. Hopefully we just go all the way.
No coaches though, if we do.
Honestly, fully operational Jubilee line. I'll be up and down all day. But everything about the day was brilliant.
So final question. 10 years time from now, Southend have just got in the Premier League. Okay, the FA give you a call. Rylee, will you come be our commercial manager? What are you going to do?
Do you know what? It's two dream jobs growing up, and it was working here or working for the FA. But I think this place it hooks you. I think once you're in, you never leave.
You heard that. got that now.
Repeat. No, I mean I've been here 4 years now, and I think I'm the shortest serving. Like that goes to show just how long people are, and you know, my colleagues, the things they've been through, a lot of them, all they've known is relegation, unpaid wages, administration, and I think for us that's the pride. We're on good times now. And I'll always chuckle to myself when I see on social media meltdown because we've not signed a player.
I know.
A player we've linked with that's signed for the league favourites, and I think back 14 months ago.
Exactly. Well, we talked about the game with.
And I think for us it's
left 10 players.
Exactly, and I don't want to dwell on it forever. You have to move forward. But that for me is always in the back of my mind. And it is that sense of pride that, you know, like sat here now, just brand new scoreboard. We had a broken one for what, 4 years, 5 years, and obviously the guys that we financed in the car sponsored that for us, which they didn't have to do, and the dugout's being replaced. We've got a working clock.
So much
like things you
great
take
stuff
for
going
granted.
on.
Like you can see now they're working on the West Stand, and it's the stuff that you don't see that so much goes on. It's not just a case of a Saturday 3 o'clock rock up, play a game, win or lose, and that's the exciting thing, you know. It's being a local lad and supporting my team and knowing that if I land a big partnership deal, that money can go straight towards the training ground or a new player, or it can improve our wage budget or whatever it may be. And that's for me, that's the big thing. And if we get to Premier League one day, then even better.
That'd be amazing. Well, like you say, it's not just a Saturday. You know, here we are on the Tuesday early afternoon. Your phone's going off, my phone's going off. Everyone's trying to get us. There's works going, preparing for the season. There's always stuff going on here.
Exactly.
And you know, hopefully we've got some amazing more times ahead of us.
I'm sure there will be.
Season not far away now.
No.
And hopefully we've got some great times to enjoy.
I'm sure there will.
So listen, you've done an amazing job. Everyone will agree. Incredible job. Under some really difficult times and circumstances, you know. And you know, it's just a privilege to talk to you. And thank you so much for meeting us.
Thank you.
And good luck with the season.
Thank you. It's going to be a long 10 months. Looking forward to it.
It is. Talk
Cheers.
soon.